Loggerhead Marinelife Center in Juno Beach, Florida. Rehab center to help lots of turtles all throughout the Southeast. The amazing staff at Loggerhead will walk you through the facility as well as lots of awesome facts about the sea turtles.
From Loggerhead, Chris, who will be our tour guide, and Jen, who is on our research.
Hi guys, how's it going? Good afternoon. My name is Chris. I'm our programs coordinator here in our education department. I've been here in some capacity for about 5-6 years or so. I actually started off as a volunteer, and now I get to work here, which I'm very happy about. But my job really revolves around a lot of the public programs, especially in the summertime as well. We do a lot of really...
Loggerhead Marinelife Center is accessible to those with all abilities, including those that might be deaf. I, by chance, am also nearly deaf, and I have half my hearing in one ear and deaf in the other.
We see in great abundance the leatherback sea turtle, the green sea turtle, and our namesake, the loggerhead sea turtle. It is very important to note, though, that all 7 of those sea turtle species around the world are still considered endangered in some form or spectrum. Whether they are threatened or endangered or critically endangered, all 7 of them are unfortunately still on that red list. So since we interact with and see so many of them here in southern Florida, that's kind of our main focus. Because we have other departments here besides our hospital that really focus on the rodent conservation. One of which that I love to talk about is our research department. Our research department is federally permitted here in the state of Florida to work on about 9.5 miles of Juno. Sea turtle, very different from, say, other types of turtles or other types of organisms out there in the ocean, is the fact that they have flippers. And those flippers actually have bones in them. They actually have bones very similar to us. They have 5 phalange bones. So when it does come time to actually dig that nest, they've got like shovels essentially, especially in the past of their legs, to dig about 2 to 3 feet down, where they then would deposit about 80 to 120 eggs. And they're saying they're doing this nesting process about 5 to 7 times on a bi-yearly instance. So they laid their 5 to 7 nests between maybe a 2-week interval, and then they're going to take an entire year off. And why that is because whenever they're in a nesting cycle, they are solely focused on that nesting cycle. And they say in between each nest, they may not be locked. And at the end of that season, they lose a very huge percentage of their overall body time. It's a very laborious activity just doing one of these nests, let alone 7. So at the end of that season, they need to take a whole year off, do some mating, some foraging, building themselves back up to do this process all over again, essentially. Like we were saying, this nesting season does run from March 1st until October 31st. So I tell people, if you're here during that time, you quite literally might see some sea turtle activity. Loggerhead sea turtles are actually known for having a head shaped like a wall, like a gigantic piece of wood. They've got big, broad, brazen necks as well to support their very strong, powerful bite force. They're described to look like football players almost. But they do have a very strong, powerful bite force of about 500 pounds per square inch. The strongest out of any sea turtle. So if they really, really wanted to, and it's actually one of their favorite snacks, they can take this big conch shell and eat it like a potato chip. They love them. And they also love to go after any kind of crustacean out there, any kind of crab, lobster, shrimp. They're actually going to meet a turtle named Mango who's crazy about lobster right now. She's actually only eating lobster. But typically I like to say that these are not really picky eaters. They love all kinds of food out there. Crustaceans are definitely their favorite foods, hands down. These are very powerful bite force. They're definitely the most common in our area, but not one is the biggest. The biggest sea turtles absolutely in our area and around the world are known as the leatherback sea turtle. These leatherback sea turtles can actually be over 9 feet in length and just over 2,000 pounds as well. That was the largest one that was ever reported. These turtles do have a few adaptations that make them extremely unique, just starting with their names. They actually have leather backs and leather skin. They're the only sea turtle out there that's said to have a very soft, leathery shell. And it's very, very helpful in where they like to go. They're known as pelagic species. So they spend a majority of their time really, really far away from us and in very, very deep water as well. They say the deeper you go underwater, the more it mimics outer space. So the pressure is getting greater and the temperature is dropping considerably as well. 2 things the leatherback sea turtle is actually able to do and manage. That soft, leathery skin is actually able to withstand the pressure of the deep end, unlike other sea turtles. And unlike other sea turtles who are known as reptiles or cold-blooded creatures, they actually regulate their body temperature, which is extremely neat for a reptile to do. They're going about 5,000 feet underwater, deeper than a baleen whale, on some of their favorite foods. They have to eat a percentage of their body weight a day in just jellyfish alone. They may not eat a little jelly like this, they might eat billions of them. But to be a medusivore, you do primarily go after jellyfish. And maybe ones that are much larger in size, they actually love to go after the lion's mane jellyfish. So their tentacles may be as long as a blue whale, I've heard, so it would take a second to eat those friends. How a leatherback does that with ease is on its jawline right here. They kind of have this M shape on their jawline to help create like a pincer. And it pinches down on those very slippery and slimy jellyfish so they can't go anywhere. Once it enters its mouth, something else is very, very helpful for that sea turtle. How we have taste buds on our tongues, these leatherback sea turtles actually have taste buds all around the surface of their mouth. It goes down their esophagus till their stomachs. They have what's known as papillae. And these papillae are like elongated taste buds. They're made out of keratin, which is similar to our hair and our nails, but they're also pointed downward as well. So they do help that sea turtle very continuously slurp up that jellyfish like some spaghetti, but it also protects them from the nematocysts as well, the stinging cell of a jellyfish. So it doesn't matter what kind of jelly, how many jellies, they can eat as many as they want to help these papillae. So a little scary, but very cool, very helpful for that sea turtle. The last but not least, nesting sea turtle that we see here in the Juno Beach area is known as the green sea turtle. The green sea turtle is actually known as the second most common sea turtle here in Juno, and it's actually known as the second largest sea turtle around the world. They do get bigger than our loggerheads by about ½ foot and about 50 pounds. Now you may not believe me if you saw their two head shapes together here. That's kind of why the loggerheads known to have a big head. The green sea turtles have a humongous body, and much more narrow necks and smaller heads as well. And they have a very unique jawline for themselves as well. They kind of have these little teeth here. Now the lawnmowers of the sea. So they love to help regulate our seagrass bed sizes here. Like a lawnmower does, they don't just yank out the plants entirely. They're just coming by to give a little haircut, ensure that it's able to grow back further organisms like entities. Fun fact about it, green sea turtles. But these three that I just mentioned are all sea turtles that we see here in the Juno Beach area. So if you're taking that morning or evening walk, very safely so too, you quite literally might be running into one of these three sea turtles, which is really cool. They have 4 scoots on just their lateral side. It's a green sea turtle. They will always have 4 scoots on their lateral side. It's a loggerhead sea turtle. They'll actually have a 5th one right up top here. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, I counted wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the lateral side. So just something to kind of keep different. How a sea turtle though differs from other types of turtles like a terrapin or a tortoise is that the sea turtle not only spends the majority of its time only in the ocean, but it cannot fully retract itself from its body to protect itself. It is pretty much only shielded on its back, and it is because it is completely fused to its spinal system. Its rib cage is directly attached to its carapace. It cannot get rid of its shell. It can't get a new one. It's got to keep it in the utmost care. And how a sea turtle does that is it does seek out and perform maintenance on its shell. When you can find a hard structure underwater, like some coral, some rock, shipwreck would be really nice for that too. And they just kind of scratch their backs on it, getting all that icky stuff off of them. If ever something does accumulate, it's likely from not doing that maintaining. And typically, if a river sea turtle becomes very sick, very lethargic, really doesn't feel very well, they might start to accumulate a mass amount of this. This which is known as the hawksbill sea turtle. These hawksbill sea turtles are very aptly named. They have a very pronounced beak like a bird does or a hawk, and they use that bird's beak to go after some of their favorite foods. These turtles may not nest here in the Juno Beach area, although there is some evidence of it, but they love to hang out offshore in our coral reefs. They are known as a keystone species within the coral reefs and also a spongivore. They primarily go after sea sponges here in our coral reefs, and we really thank them for that as well. If there was no one going after these sea sponges, they would overgrow and overgrow to the point where it would actually smother and suffocate our coral reef. That's kind of why they're a keystone species. I like to equate it to, anyone ever heard of, maybe not everybody's heard of keystone species, but hopefully you guys have heard of St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis, Missouri's got that big arch that's there. I was told the very middle piece of that arch is actually called a keystone, and it's keeping the structural integrity of that entire thing together. And it's what these sea turtles and a lot of other species around the world are named after. Through their predator-prey interaction, they're keeping our structural integrity for our coral reefs, which is really amazing. If someone going out there, they would overgrow. That would not do so hot. So we have to thank our hawksbill sea turtles out there. They also have a very infamously known pattern on their shell too. More on that in just a second. The last but not least sea turtle that we see here in the southern Florida area is known as the tiniest, the smallest sea turtle around the world. That is known as our Kemp's Ridley sea turtle. These Kemp's Ridley sea turtles may be known as the tiniest but they actually are known for doing something extremely unique in huge mass numbers. This is the sea turtle that does what's known as an arribadas, and it's Spanish for arrival. They take their friends, their families, and by releasing a pheromone in the water, they're going to all signal to one another that they're going to begin their overall nesting activity. This is the species of sea turtle that does their nesting process like in the hundreds. It's a way to fend off predators getting very large groups, and actually have the needs to kind of camouflage and cover up their nest when they're all done, they're all walking over it together. But it's a very unique process to kind of capture the sea turtle. I like to imagine these are the turtles on Finding Nemo. They're the ones that kind of hang out with each other and find each other out there. Everybody else is very solitary, especially in that nesting process, except for our capture. So, kind of a fun fact about that.
I just had up, so we were doing a treatment with DMSO and amikacin, and basically what we were doing is massaging it into the flipper. So DMSO acts as an agent that basically just absorbs things very well into the skin and things like that, and so that way we're directly able to get it into that infected site. So we were massaging it for about like 2 to 3 minutes, and that helps it really absorb well. And then we stayed out of water for about 30 minutes to allow contact time to absorb. And then tomorrow, Grease will go into surgery to further debride that area as well. This is an x-ray of her right front flipper. So Grease has osteomyelitis, which is a bone section. And this is what you see right here. So Grease is getting treatment for that here at Loggerhead. So getting surgery actually tomorrow to have it heavily divided.
Too. So if we ever have a turtle that has a disease called fibropalpulomatosis, it's a very big word for kind of like a turtle HPV virus. It is congenital. It does spread to other turtles if come in contact. Luckily, it's a benign tumor. It's just they grow and grow and grow in very high friction areas. They're kind of on antibiotic observation, waiting for release as well, which is kind of fun. So we'll see who we get.